will go through a number of the reopening protocols. And if you have any questions relating to those, we can answer them. But we don't, again, I'd like to reiterate, we don't want to keep you too long today. I do want to take this moment, though, to reemphasize that we are operating within unusual times. And the responsibility is especially high on parents and other stakeholders to ensure that our educational plans can continue functioning safely. And that means that we have to be careful in relation to contracting COVID-19, taking the appropriate health precautions to ensure that we do not get sick, to ensure that we do not infect our students, and to ensure that we do not infect anybody associated with the education plans. The reopening of, or the phased reopening of schools is a priority for the Ministry and Department of Education because we understand the learning gaps that are occurring on our digital platforms. This is something that is being experienced worldwide, as we know that there is a digital divide, and not all subject areas will be able to be properly facilitated via remote learning or e-learning. And therefore, we're taking this step that we're taking is in order to facilitate our students. And I want to say one last time that the responsibility on our stakeholders, our community stakeholders, and our education stakeholders at this point in time is extremely high. If we want to continue and to ensure, you couldn't hear me? If we want to continue and we want to ensure that our education plans remain open, the responsibility is on the Anguillian community. So with that said, I'm going to turn over to the CEO who will go through the reopening or the phased reopening plans for secondary school, primary school, and you will be able to ask questions thereafter.
All right, good afternoon and thank you, Minister. I will start with secondary school, and I just want to reemphasize what the Minister said. These are difficult times, challenging times for us all, and the onus is on all of us, administrators, teachers, students, parents, the wider community, to ensure we are following all the protocols in place to keep our school environments safe for our students and for the continuity of learning. I will start with secondary school. Forms 1, 2, and 3 will continue with remote learning until further notice. Form 4 will continue with remote learning, but will report to the physical classroom for the technical studies areas as directed by their teachers. This is a continuation of what was started last week. Beginning Monday, 4th October 2021, Form 5 and Form 6A will physically return to the classroom for face-to-face instruction following their established subject timetables. Students attending WISE, PRU, DOVE 2, and Special Education Needs Unit, this is SEN Unit 2, will also return to the classroom following their regular schedule from Monday, 4th October 2021. A blended learning approach will be adopted so that the e-learning platform will be used where appropriate. Okay, so that's the update for secondary school. I will also add that the bus service, the school bus service, will also return effective Monday, 4th October. We know parents are out there working. We are encouraging our students to utilize the bus service for transport for both the morning sessions and the afternoon sessions at the Albina Lake Arch Comprehensive School. I also want to add, with regards to the secondary school, that small number of classes that cannot social distance in Form 5 and 6A will continue with remote learning, but the teachers will provide directions where that is concerned. It's just 1 or 2 classes, it's not many. All right, so we anticipate the full cooperation of all stakeholders with the phased return to the classroom at the secondary level. At the primary level, grades K to 4 will have 4 half-days of classroom time each week, while grades 5 to 6 and the special education needs units will have 5 half-days of classroom time weekly at their respective schools in accordance with the following schedule. Grade K, that's kindergarten, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon, and Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Grade 1, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon, and Friday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Grade 2, Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Wednesday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon, and Thursday and Friday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Grade 3, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Friday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon. Grade 4, Monday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Wednesday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon, and Thursday and Friday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Grade 5, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Thursday and Friday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon. And grade 6, Monday and Tuesday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon, Wednesday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., and Thursday and Friday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon. As I mentioned before, students in the Special Education Needs Unit, the SEN units, will have 5 half-days of classroom time each week. That is Monday through Friday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon. Remote learning will continue when the students are not in the classroom. This approach will give students contact time with their teachers while ensuring that the health risks can be appropriately managed and recommended protocols observed. Parents are reminded of the importance of picking up their children on time so that they're not wandering around the school compound. Parents of students attending the Morris Vanderpool Primary School should note that classes will continue via e-learning for an additional week. The phased physical return to classrooms for these students is therefore set for Monday, 11th October, 2021, following the above guidelines. Okay? So all primary schools, with the exception of Morris Vanderpool Primary School, will start the phased approach effective Monday, 4th October, and Morris Vanderpool will start that approach on Monday, 11th October, 2021. The protocols for the reopening of schools were announced last week, and they are available on the department's Facebook page, and we will make them available again today. We are operating under the same protocols that we ended the academic year with last academic year. Students will temperature checks as students enter the compound. They will be required to wear masks. Those who, for medical reasons, cannot wear a mask can wear a face shield. Teachers will also be required, teachers and all professional and auxiliary staff of schools will also be required to wear masks. Surfaces will be sanitized on an ongoing basis to ensure it's safe. Students will be reminded of our hand washing protocols. The bathroom facilities will be monitored on an ongoing basis. Custodians will be assigned to ensure that monitoring is being done, and cleaning is being happening on an ongoing basis, and also to ensure students are monitored when they are at play or during the break sessions. Breaks will be staggered to ensure that we control the number of students on the playground at any given point in time to ensure that they can effectively social distance and so forth. Okay, so all the protocols are clearly listed. We are encouraging parents, if students are ill, are showing symptoms that they are not doing well, that those students are kept home under observation and that they should immediately consult with their family doctor. The same protocol applies to teachers who are feeling ill in the morning if they are not doing well. They too should stay at home and indicate that to the respective line managers, but also seek medical attention. No one should come to the school compounds unless they are of good health to the best of their ability, that you can tell that they are doing well. Anyone who develop any symptoms, any illness during the day will be isolated on the school compound until that persons can be collected, whether by parents or other adults, other designated adults. So we do encourage persons to observe all the protocols to ensure the environment, the school environment, is safe for everyone.
So we've laid out the protocols, and if there are any questions outstanding, we will take the next 10 minutes to answer your questions. And then any further questions after that point can be answered on the Department of Education's Facebook page, where we will be facilitating a live question and answer session for you to ask your questions directly and to get direct answers.
We are starting with the phased approach. Is there a particular date the ministry is looking at for physical full reopening?
The date, well, as you would have known from previous press conferences, we would have wanted to open schools fully on the 27th of September had the COVID-19 situation improved. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And I don't think we are at liberty to give any definitive date about the full reopening of schools until we have the clear both from health, the health team, and until we have the facilities ready to fully use and allow the children to be socially distanced. So unfortunately, the answer is no.
Is the ministry encouraging teachers to be vaccinated?
Yes, the ministry is encouraging teachers to be vaccinated. It's been encouraging teachers to be vaccinated from the time we had vaccines available on island, and we will continue to encourage teachers to be vaccinated. At the moment, we are, I think we no longer, we're soon out of the current stock of vaccines that came for persons to be vaccinated with their second dose, and we've actually also had persons going forward to get a first dose of the vaccine since they came on island. Now the next question is, when we get additional stock, we will continue encouraging persons to go and get that vaccine so that we can be fully equipped at the education, in the education sector.
Do you have an idea in terms of the percentage of the teachers who are vaccinated, non-vaccinated?
Yes, we did several, we did several polls with regards to that. The first one was done by the Anguilla Teachers Union. At that point in time, we thought the results of that indicated that up to about 60+% of persons were vaccinated. We did a more recent one a number of weeks ago when we started to look at the reopening of schools on 6 September, and that number climbed to almost 80% of teachers that were vaccinated, teachers and professional support staff that were vaccinated. And we had more than 50% of the teaching fraternity responding to that poll. Okay? So the numbers are encouraging, but we still have some way to go, and we continue, as the minister mentioned, to encourage teachers and all support staff to get vaccinated as soon as they can.
You mentioned that the classrooms will be sanitized periodically, frequently. Just wondering, since the pandemic, how many custodians have been hired?
Yeah, at the commencement of the pandemic, when we started to grapple with what was required in terms of sanitization of rooms and so forth, we hired an additional 9 custodians, and those custodians are still employed with us.
Any other questions? I know Lloyd is checking on the live.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let me use this opportunity as well to say thank you to members of the teaching fraternity for the work that they have done since September 6th and even prior to September 6th in terms of catering for the needs of our students in the e-learning environment, and also thank them for the work that they're about to continue with the phased reopening of schools. This is difficult because in many respects our teachers are not separate and apart from our community. They're impacted by everything that is going on around us that are touching all our lives. Their families are impacted. So they continue to do their job under very difficult circumstances. And we have a number of our teachers as well that are impacted more directly than others. So we really want to say thank you to them for the work, for their commitment to the education of our children, and we wish them every success in all their endeavors as we continue now, as we move into a new phase of the academic year.
A question from online asking about preschools. Is there any schedule for preschools to be opened?
Yeah. The pre-primary sector will be communicating directly with parents as to what their plans look like. And the Department of Education remains ready to assist where we can, and we are doing that in a number of areas. So parents should now reach out to that sector for more detailed information as to what they will be doing going forward.
I just wanted to add a little bit of detail on one aspect, because I'm sure some persons will have questions as to why Forms 1 and 2 will remain on e-learning platforms. But as we've made assessments of the school's capacity, both in terms of sharing teaching staff and actually social distancing, we have come to the conclusion that we cannot safely distance our year 1 and year 2 students on campus. And in these circumstances, we have to prioritize health, and we won't be able to bring them back until we find a situation where we can either effectively rework the schedule, because of course we're using teachers, the same teachers that we're using for Form 1 and 2, we're using them for Forms 3, 4, 5, and 6, and therefore we have a limitation in relation to staff. And because of these considerations, we have had to remain online for Forms 1, 2, and 3. And 3. I'm sorry, and 3.
Another question, not a question, but they're asking to go over again pre-K to 3 with remote learning.
The
scheduling. Yes.
They want us to repeat the schedule for from K to 6.
No, to 3.
K to 3?
K to 3. Okay. From
grade
K
1 to grade 1, sorry. From K and grade 1.
K and grade 1. Okay. Let me also, I will repeat it now, but let me also state that once the press conference is done, the communications officer for the department will release a detailed press release on the department's Facebook page with all this information, and also teachers and schools will commence sharing it with their parents. Okay, so parents will be getting this information in short order. But let me repeat it now for the person who's asking. Grade K, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon. Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And grade 1, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 8:25 a.m. to 12 noon. And Friday, 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m.
One of the concerns online is babysitters, in terms of, I guess, it's not spelled out, but I think that referencing to vaccination.
References to vaccination?
To be vaccinated.
Well, at the moment, the challenge for us is that babysitters are not under the Department of Education. Daycares are not under the Department of Education or the Ministry of Education. Although there is now, we've realized during this pandemic that there is a need to bring both sectors under the purview of the Ministry of Education. So to that regard, a lot of babysitters and daycare services are private services. They're not offered under the Ministry of Education, although that is, again, something that we're looking at in the future. But I do also want to add a little bit of context to one other thing, because you would notice, if persons have been following on the press conference from the beginning, you would have noticed that the primary school sector would have been staggered, and there would be certain groups that would be in each school at a particular time. There has been a limitation to the amount of groups that we will have in each school. This is an assurance for parents in terms of how we're keeping and controlling numbers. Right. There is a limitation in terms of the number of groups that will be on the campus at a specific time in relation to how we supervise and control those students. And therefore, it is very, very important that parents pick up their children on time. So I know that sometimes life gets hectic, work gets hectic, but this is essential for us to be able to actually control the numbers of students at the schools at any particular point in time. So I really have to implore parents to really, really stick to the times given, and please pick up their children on time.
There's also one protocol I want to mention, and that has to do with visitors, persons visiting the school. I know in many respects, we have new structures that are being open now. There might be, there's a natural tendency for persons to want to visit and see what the new facilities are like. But I need to remind parents that one of the protocols in place is that there is no direct visitation to the classroom, right? We are trying to limit contact directly with classrooms by visitors to the school. So parents will need to go to the office, which is the normal protocol. You go to the office, report your intent. Also, based on what the need is, the principal will assess it and see how best to facilitate it. So parents or any visitors approaching schools should not go directly to classrooms. All right, and we need as much as possible for persons to observe that. It's for the safety and protection of both students and teachers. All right, you have to report to the office. The principal will then determine next steps from there. Okay. That's it.
Okay, if there are no more questions.
There's this concern, if we are using the same teachers for Forms 1 to 5, how can we have e-learning and face-to-face at the same time with the same teachers?
How can we have?
How can we have
Let me take that, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
e-learning and face-to-face at the
e-learning.
same time with the same teachers?
Okay. The approach that we mentioned for forms, you're saying forms 5, right, and 6?
1 to 5.
Oh, 1 to 5. Okay. No, for forms 1 to 5, forms 1 to 3 will continue on e-learning, right? Form 4, a number of the students who are the technical areas, they are allowed to come out as per our phasing plan that was announced last week. So they're coming out already in the morning sessions for their technical subjects. They still will be available in the afternoon for e-learning, okay? The school will look at conflicts across the board and try to address that. That's something that has already commenced, okay? So those conflicts will be addressed, and where necessary, there will sessions will be rescheduled, okay, to accommodate. All right.
Okay.
Like, I just want to re-emphasize, These are accommodations that we are making to try to ensure that we can try as much as possible to reduce the learning loss that's occurring as a result of e-learning, and at the same time still continue to provide an education service to those students who cannot come out. So as I've always been doing from the beginning of this, is ask parents to be patient with us as we navigate it and try to find the best outcomes for our children, and that's what we are doing. Okay, as the minister mentioned earlier, when the situation is such that we can return most students to the classroom in a safe manner, that's our preference, has always been our preference. I know my daughter, for example, who is in Form 2, it will be very disappointed with this press conference because she was hoping to return to the classroom as well. And I'm going to, no doubt, hear of her disappointment, but it's not safe yet for us to do that. And we hope our students, our parents, and everyone understands that.
This is a direct message. Ask them, what about kindergarten children? The parents would need to take the children to the classes because it's a new environment, and the children would be scared to just walk in and left without moral support.
Okay.
What's the plan for that?
Yeah, and that is a common thing too, because for them, although they have started and they have been introduced already to the teacher, remember there were two things. Schools facilitated visits prior. So this would not be the very first time these children are entering the compound. They were first introduced to the teacher face-to-face with the parent. If you guys remember back on a couple press conferences back, this was done to facilitate that introduction, that initial introduction to the school and to the teacher. In addition to that, this would be like the first day for them as well, coming back as a class. We do understand that that will be there. I will allow principals and teachers to manage that process in a similar manner, where the parent can go up, drop the child off, introduce the child again to the teacher receive the child, and then immediately remove. That does not require the parent to enter the classroom and to spend any particular time period within the classroom. So those things can be managed at the school level. Okay? But this is not the first introduction. This would be now the second for those students.
Okay, so we did say that we were going to give 10 minutes, and if answering as many questions as possible online, but we also said that if there are further questions, we would be willing to facilitate a question and answer on the Department of Education's Facebook page, and we will also be releasing a press release with these specific protocols in them for persons to read, and if persons don't want to read the protocols, they are always open to listening to this press conference from the beginning to glean any information that they think they may have lost. So at this point in time, I want to thank everybody for coming out, thank everybody for listening, and I do wish all the students, parents, teachers, and auxiliary staff the best as we move into the phased reopening of schools come Monday, 4th October, and for Mars Vanderpool Primary School on the 11th of October, 2021. So all the best, and thank you for listening to this special press conference.